All right, and we have another presentation here for us. Okay, anyone guess why? Let's just still talk about June, okay, as a month here for us. So June of 2022, how did you do?
Good. Our best month.
It was the best month ever. What did we end up with? 414,000. Okay, compared to last year, June of 2021, we were at 311,000, so it's over 100K more. So I think the most impressive thing about June 2022 was that, you know, heading into this beginning of the month, I was like, okay, Laura's gonna take a week off, you know, and I'm gonna take a week off. And then I didn't plan to get COVID, but, you know, but beginning of the month, I wasn't thinking this is gonna be one of our best months ever, you know, because of the situation. So that just shows how impressive last month was. And me being out 2 weeks at the end there, I was like really happy for us, but at the same time I was like, man, I really don't matter that much, huh? But it was a great sign of, because that's what they say about businesses, you know? Some businesses, it's not a real business until the owner doesn't have to actually physically be there and do things day to day. The good businesses are ones that run on its own. And when I got back, you know, there was like one person had to call back.
And fix my email.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So
That's the only reason why I missed that. My email.
I'm sorry, keep going now. And then no drama, you know, everybody was getting along and stuff like that. So I just want to say how proud I am of you guys. So thankful I am with you guys because as much as I care about my business, you know, I'm homesick, recovering from COVID, and you know, things weren't going well at the office, and I'll be even more stressed out, and maybe it would take me longer to recover. So it was just in a situation like that, I was like, man, this sucks, but then it's an opportunity to show what we're made of, and I really feel like we stepped it up last month. So I just want to thank you guys for having a great month, and our best month ever. And even though now we have challenges, let's keep in mind when we had challenges, how we responded, so that way we have confidence that this challenge we will overcome too. So yeah, let's give up ourselves. Okay, so some of the things I want to shout out for the winners. We have a new agent alert. Judith did it. All right, so yeah, congratulations to her. Let's give her up to her. She was 20 years old, having her license. I wish I could say the same thing. Who got their license at an age here? How old?
19.
Oh, 19? Oh, wow, that's crazy.
I got 19.
Huh? You're a 19?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
21.
21, okay, yeah. Yeah, well, it's a great start to a career, you know. I wish I was licensed at your guys' age. But yeah, to find a career and to be on the right track at such a young age is just something that I'm very excited for her, very happy for, and I just love seeing us, more of us win in this business and use this as a career and as an opportunity to improve your finances for your family in the future. So I'm really happy for her. All right, and then we got the most payments. We have a new winner.
Really?
We do.
America's not a winner no more?
Yeah.
The streak is over?
The streak is over. Linda, in only her third month
Wow.
ever, had 106 payments.
Wow.
It is. Yeah, well, we can tell that, right? We can
Yeah.
see that she's doing that, and the stats show that too. So it requires someone that's consistent and on the phones. So sometimes I'm almost like, working your list. Are you working your list? Because you're always picking up, you know. But you know, it's just something that's really important to us, and really showing that you know, she's a hard worker. Okay, so we're going to give it up for her for that. All right, and we have other recognitions. Best month ever. We have 3 agents. One of them is America at 15,000. This is her second full month being licensed. Yeah, great sign. She's also off to a great start this month too, working, you know, July 4th. So did Judith too, and she got a lot of leads, and she's getting better and better at the sales game too. So kind of makes sense once you start getting licensed and start selling, then you start taking a little less payments. So she didn't win the payment contest, but she had her best month ever. We have another agent who had their best month ever. Anyone want to take a guess?
Blanca.
Blanca, yep, and then who else?
Angelina or
One
Diana?
more.
Diana?
Nope.
Yes?
Nope.
No, not me.
We have Kalia. Kalia had her best month ever at 50,000. She's gone to 50,000 before. Last month she did 49,000, so she's been around this range many times. But technically, it was her best month ever. So she's going the right direction. She has the highest closing ratio for anybody in her team for the third month in a row. Last month was 32%. So yeah, great numbers from Kalia, and yeah, still getting better at sales. So let's go for that. Then you mentioned Blanca. Okay, Blanca definitely had her best month ever. June last year was a tough month for her. Okay, because that's when some stuff in her personal life happened, so she couldn't, she missed it. Okay, now this year, same thing, you know, we have some tough challenges in our lives that come up, but the way she's responded is just so much different this year. It just shows so much growth on her part. How you respond to adversity is what we make ourselves of, just like this adversity too. So this time the way she's respond to adversity is completely different, and she just had just a spectacular month, to be honest with you. You know, I think she's one of the reasons, because 60,000 when she last month she rolled like 40,000 is with everybody else, you know, increasing a lot, or sometimes a lot of people staying around their averages. She was the one that really made a big difference. And it was a month where I was like, hey, Laura's gonna be out a week. I'm gonna be gone a week. So these are some weeks that we really want people to be focused on. And one of the biggest indicator of her focusing and being a team player is that her attendance was at 106%. So she dominated the most hours, and she was on the phones the most. So I kept telling, hey, we need someone to step up with Laura, and she definitely did that for us. So she, most hours worked, most phone hours, best month ever at 60K. So let's congratulate her for having her best month ever. And that's over a course of 6 years too. So there's a lot of good months, but that was by far. 55 was her second best month, so jumping over to 60 range is a big deal, big number there. So really happy for her. Second place finisher, we have an agent that has hit 70K one time last year in 2021. And this year she's hit it 3 times already. You want to keep it going?
I'm trying to, but we're just punching the face. I don't know.
So she made $2,700 an hourly. Added up to her commission of $5,900. This is including chargebacks, okay, because this is a later meeting there. It gives her a month where she said made $8,700, which comes out to $53 per hour. Okay, she's consistent, brings energy to the energy office every day, our emotional leader. One of the things that stood out is, okay, we're gonna have Laura out, so we need someone to step it up. She broke the record for most phone calls made and taken with 1,151. So record breaker month there for us. Let's give it up for Jasmine.
Good, Jason says I'm waiting for the leads.
You do wait for the leads.
All right, and then we have our first place finisher. This agent is now averaging 85,000 for the whole year. Last month she did 11 business policies, which came out to 33K in premium. Okay, so business policies, life policies, these are things that are being affected. Well, life is not really being affected. So sometimes we have to find out, okay, different angles for us to make money. Okay, so these are the type of opportunities that might come out of this too. Okay, so the business policies are taking rates that are having less underwriting issues. So 11 business policy, 2 life policies that added up to 17,000 in premium. So that really helped out her month. Big time, right? And she took a family vacation for a whole week. And if you look at the numbers, it's like you can't even tell. Because it's 88,000 in premium, which is 7,000 in commission. Add her to her hourly, she made over 9,000 per month, which is not unusual for her. But what is unusual is when you do the per hours, because of that whole week off, ended up being $73 per hour. So let's give it up for Laura Martinez.
It feels like you're getting that picture.
All right, and we have another presentation here for us. Okay, anyone want to guess why? Your award. We have a work anniversary, July 12th of 2012.
Probably Laura or Jen.
For Laura.
Laura. Okay, so what does that make it?
Her 10th year?
10 years. Okay, July 17th. So this month. So I just wanted to just start off with recognition right away. My first opportunity for me to do this. It's a special day for our agency because Laura joined our agency. I said this story many times, but it was a situation where, I was a new agency owner, I was a new business owner. I didn't really know what was going on. And we had a group of, not that stellar of a group. And she joined us, and, it was a recession. It was a Craigslist ad that she responded to that said farmers insurance, CSR, $11 an hour. And, she came to work, and together we really made a big difference in our business careers. Right away, I could just tell that, because I've trained a lot of people before and after, but right away the first thing I noticed was how, I guess you could just say how smart she was, as far as information retention. And when I tell her something, she just gets it, and that's something that, as you guys know, when it comes to training, it makes my job so much easier. But I was like, wow, this is like a really, I just tell her one time and she completely gets it. Combine that with her work ethic, and just her competitive nature. We just 10 years later, we weren't writing any life policies, commercial policies, anything like that. What were we writing as a team, like 25,000 for the whole month and stuff like that. I wish I had the stats from back then because, it was like writing 10,000 was a great month for any of us. But 10 years later, we moved offices, she's gotten married, she's bought a house, and I just really want to show my appreciation for giving me so much fulfillment in my business life too, because I just desperately like to see people win, and when someone's doing that, it makes me just so happy that what I do and when I work so hard, it makes it worth it when I see people win. So as much as I want people to win, it's just the work has to be done by that individual, and she definitely has put in the work for us for 10 years. I just want to try my best to show my appreciation, but I guess the best way to show it is to keep, like this situation here, think of ways to better our agency so you guys could all take care of your families and also have a happy and fulfilling lifestyle too. So let's get up for Laura. Here's the award. Here you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now,
It's a collection.
it's my collection.
The collection.
Now, I also was thinking like, hey, it's a pretty big deal, so I should do something. So I was thinking of different things, but I just thought the best way to do it is to write a check. Yeah, I thought of different things, trips, like things like that.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want to smile.
So, there's so many things I could have thought of, but I was like, well, what's the best way? I want her to just figure out whatever she wants to do with it. So, since it was 10 years, this is a check for 10,000.
No way, nah. They ain't coming.
I think my accountant may think it's not smart, but I think it's the smartest thing for me to do is to try to take care of the people who have taken care of me.
You better stay another 10 years.
My job is to make it worth it for her, to be here for another 10 years and to even pay her back in a bigger way for her loyalty, because it's hard to find these days. So it's really hard for me to show, even with that or whatever I say, how much gratitude I have, but the best way is to show it through action. That's what I plan to do. So let's get up for Laura again. Thank you so much. All right, so for this meeting, I want to talk about a way we could become unstoppable, okay? Because we are in a situation where we're doing really well. I went to the thing, and then people were like, "Congratulations, you're killing it." Laura's situation too. We have people hitting the best all-time numbers, and we're making more money, and we're just doing well as an agency. Even though with these challenges, I kind of wrote this thing out before this happened, so it's maybe a little different. But I just want to think about, okay, we're doing really well. But sometimes we have to think about, okay, we're in the insurance business, so we have to think about, okay, what do we have to do to make sure we stay this way? Because insurance is something you get to protect yourself from bad things happening, right? And I don't want to have bad things happening to us. Bad things meaning like we plateau or our agency starts going down. I mean, businesses happen where, things start going bad and I have to let people go, or, just bad things can happen. Business is not always going to be going great because this is a very rare situation. Our agency's going to hit 15 years and every year has been better. Okay, so I want to keep going that way and I want to be unstoppable. So I want to talk about the one thing that we have to be careful about. It's like the invisible enemy. It's what's going to stop us if you don't become aware of it. So what do you think that is? The things that make people, not just businesses, but also individuals.
Like they have fear.
They have fear.
But I mean, kind of like today, you kind of get like into a little panic, like, but then you have to remind yourself that.
Oh, okay. Like negativity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Negativity is a real one. You start thinking like, oh, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad, and bad things are going to be happening. But a little bit of healthy fear is also good too, because we always have to be like, always thinking like, okay, it's good right now, but things could go bad, so I have to like, make sure my mind's right. But I think what we're trying to say is negativity. Yeah, being negative or just being too scared. We're not taking actions. It's kind of something that happens where when you start making money, comfortable is very similar to that.
Slacking.
Maybe you win some awards. Maybe people will start telling you how great you are. I went to the trip and like people like that I didn't know want to take selfies with me. Like, oh, this has never happened.
Your ego.
Your ego. Okay, that's what I'm talking about with you guys today, because ego is an invisible enemy. Okay, who wants to describe ego? You're feeling better than everybody else. Okay, it's an unhealthy belief in your own importance. Okay, so can you guys maybe talk about how ego could hurt us?
We won't be open like to learning because you think you're a know-it-all.
There you go. Perfect. Once you start having an ego, then you stop learning. And then you don't want to be trained. Like I already know, like I want to hear it. I already know it. And that's when you start limiting your upside, because the more you learn, the more you earn. You're basically stopping yourself from growth. A lot of times when it comes to bad teammates or team issues, most of the time, it just comes from ego. Someone, that this person disrespected me, or I'm better than this person, that you shouldn't be getting this or that. A lot of times when there's conflict within an office, it's usually based on ego. Okay, so that's another thing we have to watch out for, because we have to protect ourselves and be aware of that, because the last thing we want is people beefing in here and things not working out. So that's why another reason where ego is going to be the thing that we have to really watch out for. Anything else that how ego could be bad? Or have you guys seen anyone get hurt from having bad ego?
Before, a while back.
They lost their job.
They lost their job.
Yeah.
How did ego hurt them?
They thought they were
They,
better.
they never want to take they think that it's their fault,
Yeah.
Take responsibility.
and they just want to do things their way, lie, be shady, and then think that they're nobody gonna see what they're doing, and then they don't take responsibility for it. So they lost their job.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe they did those actions because they felt like, oh, this place needs me.
Yeah.
So when you have a bigger,
Oh, Dan likes me.
Yeah.
I'm not going nowhere.
yeah, well, then that could be that. That's ego. That's because that's not true. People feeling that they are more important than we are, because we really aren't all that important. If you really think about it. Okay. And that's how I want to operate and have my mindset here. So that's a great example. There's actually another example, since we're
We
going
have a
back.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
You
times,
think about it,
a lot of times, yeah, if you think about it, a lot of times it's the ego that got them in trouble. Actually, an Asian before Laura that was the Asian of the month
She
every
was
single month.
the top agent.
Oh, I remember. You told me when you interviewed me.
Yeah, the ego is what really led to her downfall.
And she felt that she can make the decision for you.
Yeah. Compensation plans. She felt like she should be the one deciding who we hire.
Who should get fired.
Who should get fired, or just
Giving you like an ultimatum.
giving me ultimatums. Yeah,
It's either her or me.
It's crazy, and that's one of the things I want to say how much I appreciate Laura, because I think a lot of great salespeople, you kind of need that side of yourself where you have a higher sense of belief in yourself. But ego is comes from insecurity where you kind of like not really sure about yourself, you don't really like yourself that much, so you kind of have to boost yourself up from fake, imagination. So a lot of times it comes from insecurity. So to have a top agent with humility, that's so important because then everybody is gonna want to be like that, okay? And it just builds a great team culture because the problem with Janet was that she just felt that she was so much better than everybody else that nobody really wanted to work with her. So how can I build a big team when the top agent is someone that we don't want to be like or we don't want like working with? I sometimes see when people apply, their ego can't let them take a little step backwards and pay because of the future potential, because they feel like, okay, I deserve more right now. It's like, well, you don't even know how to do anything right now. So it's like your ego is getting in your way of getting a good job sometimes. They stop growing. Okay, it prevents us from reaching mastery. If you want to be a master, you have to be a beginner all the time. And that's how I feel about it too. Like, it's my obligation for me to always humble myself, because if I start thinking like I'm the shit, then that's really how leaders become bad leaders too. Okay, you better do this because I'm the boss, or like, it's not coming from a good place, or a lot of times it's again from insecurity because I don't like myself. I want to put somebody else down so I feel good about myself. Those are really, really bad leaders. It's all about just humility, understanding that, hey, I'm a part of a team here. It's not just all about me. Still be coachable. Okay, because it's such a bad look when someone has such a bad, huge ego when they're really not all that. It's like you think you're so all that, but you're just not. It's just such a bad look. What's a good characteristic with people with good humility? What are they like?
Friendly.
They're friendly. Okay, they have interest in other people because it's not all about themselves. Like, hey, what are you about? Have interest in you. Like, oh, maybe I could learn something from you. So it'll help with customer service, really. Like,
They're open-minded.
Open-minded, very coachable. Very open-minded. They're great listeners. Okay, a lot of times ego, sometimes it's like, I want to show you what I know. I want to tell you what I know. Everything someone says, like, oh, let me just tell you what I feel about that because my opinions matter so much. A humble person is someone who's, oh, okay, I get how you think about it. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, maybe I could learn something from that.
They're helpful.
Helpful? Yeah. Because again, it's not all about them. They want to help other people because they feel like, hey, I want to be able to help other people because then I can serve. They have a really serving type of mentality rather than like, hey, people have to do stuff for me. They're able to adapt to new technology. A lot of times people with big egos, like, this is the way I do it, so it's like, the world has to change for me. It's like, no. The world's changing and you gotta adapt, It's not based on your ideology of how the world should go. The technology is not gonna change for you. It's gonna keep doing its thing. So people with good humility are the ones that are most adaptive. Maybe that's a lesson for us here too. It's like if we had an ego and I was like telling farmers, like, no, this is some BS, you gotta change this stuff. That's what a lot of agents are probably doing right now. That's not gonna help. The humble approach is gonna be like, okay, they're having a hard time staying profitable, so I gotta adapt to new technology or new solutions, and I wanna figure it out because I know that we're just one agency out of thousands of agencies, that if we have an overblown confidence of ourselves, then farmers feel like, well, if you don't like it, then, but yeah, right? So a lot of agents get in that situation where they really just overblow their importance to the company because, in the big picture, what we write is so little, okay? And when you're humble, you actually have more of a bigger potential because you actually understand what you actually do right now is so little compared to what we can do. Because if you're thinking like, I'm the shit, we wrote so many policies, then you're gonna actually end up not writing as much because you already think you're great. But if you think like, oh, okay, we wrote 414,000, but the company itself writes, millions of dollars per day, then you're thinking like, okay, what we do in the big scale thing is very small. But that actually gives you more potential and more open-mindedness to be able to think like, hey, we could do a lot more than we can. And then you don't want to get to a point where you're just like think that you're just whack and you're just like not good at all. Okay, so you want to balance that with a word I'm looking for, which is kind of people think it's similar to ego, but it's not. So instead of ego, what we want to have is what?
Humility.
Humility, yep, and then also combine that with. It's very similar to ego. People think it's the same thing. Confidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so confidence is actually a real thing. Ego is a fake thing. Ego comes from just your make-believe of you're good. Confidence is actually memory of you winning. And then I just want to tell you guys how to be confident, okay? Number one way to become confident is to put in the work. Okay, you put in the work, then you're gonna be like, I know how to do this because I've done it tens of thousands of times before. Put in that years like Laura does, and you just come into work and you just do the actual work. That's gonna make you a confident person because you're actually getting better at your craft. You're getting really good at what you do. So let's make sure our ego is, in check because we're reaching new levels, best month ever, back to back. Okay, because I want to keep going the right direction. So let's watch out for our egos. If you feel ourselves getting bigger checks and doing really better, and I'm the type of leader that says great job, great job, great job, and the actual issues, the problems I've had with other people is that they get that to the head too much.
Also because there's people that can't take criticism.
Yeah.
So if you tell them good job, good job, good job, and then they criticize them.
They take it off personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's just actually my natural leadership style is I want to praise people and I want to say good job, but I think it's important that the person receiving it, because when people say good job Dan, I always say try to push it down. I always try to think okay, well it's not that good. It's not that great. I just say thank you, but in my head I'd never let it get to my head. Or if I look at the numbers and how far off we are according to compared to other agencies, and when people get praise, I just don't try to take that. But at the same time, when people criticize me, it's like, hey, you don't do this, you're actually not that good at it. When I see hate, I don't take that seriously either. So I really try to do a better job of judging myself the way I should, is based on effort, and not let good feedback or bad feedback affect me. And that's a lot of times when people get affected when you have a friend that kind of gives you a little bad criticism, you take it too seriously or take it too sensitive, or someone tells you you're doing a great job and you're like, okay, well I'm just gonna call tomorrow off because I'm doing such a great job. There's just a really big balance there. Okay, so I want us to keep going in the right direction, so this is a good lesson that I want us to learn, is to stay humble, okay? Just be like Laura and put in the work, and that's gonna make you a very confident person, and that's so much better than being an egotistical person, is being a confident person. Okay, so we're gonna keep pushing here. I'm gonna stay positive. We're gonna adapt. Watch out for more news as far as what direction we're gonna go. But just believe me when I say that I'm gonna stay humble. Okay, I'm gonna stay a student. Because I want to be unstoppable. And to be unstoppable, you want to think like a beginner. Okay, because when you're a beginner, you're like, okay, how do you do this? Okay, thanks for letting me know how. At certain levels, we all start becoming a beginner. All of a sudden we're like, okay, I know it all, and then that's when we don't start learning the new products and the new ways to do things. Okay, so I'm gonna stay a beginner, I'm gonna stay learning, that way we could all learn and do better at our profession and have a better financial future for our family. That's all what we're all about here. All right.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right, again.